It's the mindset. Free your mind, free your mind. Mindset. Free your mind, free your mind. Hey, not everything that glitter is gold. Not everything that's white is snow. On the mindset, I just start let them know, let them know, let them know. Oh, words from the wise. I just start, you will never die. Stand tall, you will never die. Will forever shine. I just start, shine like a star in the sky. Some hate, some love.
Yes, Elder. I mentioned there is a spearhead in the community and also a pan-Africanist from them time up until this time. Talk to you a little bit about the itself, because a lot of what know of the eye, and still there are some people today Zane that's gonna view this thing and not really know of the eye. And about who Mandingo is.
Well, biographically, I was born in the old capital of Jamaica, what they call St. Diego de la Vega, now known as Spanish Town, which was founded in 1534. And I grew up St. John's Road, Spanish Town, where my father was the headmaster of Friendship Government School and my mother was the deputy head. And my mother was my first teacher and my constant teacher. Friendship Government School being my first school, where my parents, as I said, were head and deputy head. St. John's Road, St. Catherine.
So both parents was
teachers, yes.
Teachers.
Yes, my father, the headmaster.
Right.
My
Principal.
mother was the deputy head, yes.
Rastafari.
My father is a graduate of Micah Teachers College, in Maresca Road. You know, he and Dudley Thompson, who later on was prominent in the PNP government. They were good friends at college. My mother went to Bethlehem Teachers College, which is in Malvern, St. Elizabeth, where Ivy, the wife of former Governor General Howard Cook, they went to Bethlehem Teachers College in Malvern. Okay. Of course, in Malvern, St. Elizabeth, that's where you have Monroe College and also Hampton Girls Schools, where I have cousins who went to both. After Friendship Government School, my first secondary school was Campion College. And
this is in Kingston.
In St. Andrew, actually. Because a lot of times when people say Kingston, it's really St. Andrew.
Yes.
And we're talking the Hope Road and Old Hope Road vicinity, because there were two entrances to Campion College.
Yes, true.
You know, in fact 3, on Old Hope Road and Hope Road and Hopefield Avenue. At Campion College, I went to school with several people, including Allan Skill Cole. At that time, he was just Allan Cole.
Yes.
You know.
Famous footballer.
Yes, you know, very good footballer. I used to play football myself at Campion College because my name at Campion College was Pele. So whenever you hear anyone calling me Pele, like Allan,
yes,
or the Darling brothers, who both of them later on owned, operated and played Black Star Sound, that Bus Tiger and Anthony Malvo and others.
Yes.
All of us went to Campion College together.
So, all right. What sorry for really break it there, but what stopped you progressing to even become someone like Allan Skill Cole? You know what I mean? As a professional footballer.
Yeah. What happened, my position was outside left. I used to play outside left. I'm younger than Allan. What really stopped was that at Campion College at the time, as a private school, we had only up to 5th form. It was a Roman Catholic Jesuit school, only up to 5th form. Allan left because he got a scholarship to Veer Technical.
Okay.
Football scholarship. When I finished 5th form at Campion College, I was gonna do law and economics. So I was going to go to George's, because St. George's College had sixth form, and it's a Roman Catholic school too.
Also, yes.
But I decided that in fifth form that I was gonna do civil engineering, was gonna become a lawyer and an economist. So I went to Kingston Technical, and at Kingston Technical I was asked, because people knew that, you know, I was a footballer, to play, you know, Manning Cup.
Yes.
And I went to 1 and 2 of the training sessions. But my love of football was such that I stopped, because I really wanted to be successful at becoming a civil engineer. And I say, you know what, I'm gonna park the footballing thing and just concentrate on my studies, which is what I did.
All right. Since we are talking about the football and thing, we have the World Cup just passed.
Yes.
Zane, and we haven't seen Jamaica in the World Cup for a couple of years since they qualified in
20 years ago, 1998.
Yes, 20 years ago. Zane, all right. We see France win the World Cup. Zane, and majority of some of these French teams, some of the players are African players, such from Ivory Coast and Cameroon and
various African countries.
Yes. That speak French. What's your view upon it? Because a lot of people are saying, boy, it's really the Africans them that really want it for France. And when you look on certain publicized photos, you really see the black players, the African players who wanted for France is in the background. What are your view upon the whole of this thing?
This is something that I have spoken about. First of all, without the Africans in the French team, France would not have won the World Cup. So it's the African players who won the World Cup for France. But to show the racism of the French, as you have said, when they were taking these publicity pictures, the African players put at the back, while these French guys like Macron and others up front, they weren't on the field, they didn't play and win any matches, and instead of the African players. So they were used, you know, it's colonialism, you know, they were used to win the World Cup for France. But as usual, this is the European mentality, wanting to take credit for what they did not participate in making possible. So it is a typical example, and this is why I say these players, they should have been representing their respective African countries.
Yes.
Because the way it is, Sepp Blatter has been criticized by the English and the USA. But the reason was because he never allowed them to dictate to him. And they never rested until they got rid of him. But if it wasn't for Sepp Blatter, the expansion of countries from Africa and the Caribbean playing in the World Cup would not have taken place. The investment in terms of football,
academies
and so on, because of Sepp Blatter. So he's no angel, but he's no devil either. But what he did enhance the possibilities, positive possibilities for African players from Africa and the Caribbean.
True. All right.
Which the others were totally against, because before, let's face it, it was more or less totally European. That was what the so-called World Cup was about.
Rastafari, you're right. All right, let's turn the attention to England now, because you have another young man by the name of Sterling.
Raheem Sterling.
Zane, which he was born in Jamaica.
Yes.
And he's now playing as English national.
Yes.
Before the World Cup, there was something about him tattooing M16 and one of his legs. And it was a big hoorah about that tattoo, saying that he's promoting gun crime and gun violence. What's your honest opinion about the whole thing? Because he said that it was his father had lose his life through gun crime. Why
he did that?
He did
Let me explain what happened with Raheem Sterling. What my research has shown, because I've observed what he has said to.
Yes.
Because he actually grew up in the London northwestern region. But at the age of 2, his father was murdered in Jamaica by the gun at the age of 2. So he didn't know his father at the age of 2. He explained that the reason why he had the gun tattoo was to show that the guns that he would be firing would be from his feet.
Yes.
And not literally the gun.
Yes.
That was it. Yes. And even though he said that, the racist media were still not satisfied. They were still baying for blood. And the racism continued in that if it were not for the African players too, in the English team, the English team would not have reached where they reached. It's true.
All right. Over the last 3 to 4 months, see, there's been an uprise of murders, stabbing in the London area. See, mostly in the London area, and it is being said that it's black on black crime. But I know that there is gangs that have been here long before any so-called term of black and black crime. We know about the Teddy Boys and the skinheads and these type of gangs. Now, most of these crimes that have reported or committed and publicized, there are still no evidence or anyone being held accountable or being charged of these murders, but they are being classed as black and black crime. Is it a thing where it could be these same Teddy Boys, because they haven't disappeared, they haven't gone anywhere, they are still here, and it's been blamed on black people?
The truth is something which is irrespective of race, color, class, or creed. And the truth sets us free. First of all, gangs have always been, for hundreds of years, been in existence in England. That's nothing new.
Nothing new.
So, the composition of gangs and their story is something that had nothing to do with us as African people. They have always, long before the craze and so on, they have the whole history of gang violence in this country, in various cities, London, Bristol, whatever. Fighting over turf, control, and that type of thing. Yes, we don't have to tell lies. As I said, truth is important. Some of our youths get involved in gang activity. This is not peculiar to the African race. In every race of people, you have some youths, for whatever reasons, get trapped into gangs. We can talk about why on another occasion, but this happens irrespective of race. But what I don't like is when the racist media constantly pushes the line as if all of this gang violence has to do with our African youths. When in a lot of cases, as you have said, some of these things are the result of racist murders. We also talk about the police force, where so many of our men, women and children have died whilst being in police custody. Yet up until we are speaking here right now, today, no policeman or woman in England has ever been sent to prison for the deaths of any of our men, women, boys or girls.
And why you think that is? Is it
because of racism? Because straight, I don't beat around the bush. I tell it just like it.
So it's not that
because
the justice system is not good.
No, it's an injustice system. Not justice. Injustice system. Because when you're having a situation where so many of our people, the records are there, have died. Remember the case of Joy Gardner, who died whilst in police custody in front of her little boy, and many others.
Even last week, there was a few police was acquitted from
the death of Rashawn Charles,
yes,
etc. You know. So what it is saying is that African lives have no value. This is a plain racist narrative. African lives are of no value. When it's European lives, whether English or whatever, then it's of great concern in the news media. Why is it that when English boys stab and do other things and kill other English boys, why is it that you don't hear the phrase white and white violence? Because if you're dealing with equality, if you're going to have black and black violence, I suggest to you that you must also have white and white violence. Why the double standard? Why the racial introduction in the context? It's deliberate.
All right. My question to the eye now, because the police play a big role.
Smash that subscribe button. See you on the next video. I just start the mindset.